you're bulletproof.
Right.
And so for me, here's a few things I looked at. Now, I want to preface this by saying I do not build my business by doing presentations online to people. I keep it very simple. I meet people, I get to know them. They ask me what I do. I say, I'll show you. And I show them a few pictures, right? Of before and after pictures of Vidify. And, that's weird. It catches people's attention. They're like, oh my God, what is that? And I go, well, it's you know what turmeric is? They go, yes. I go, well, this is a turmeric extract that combines it with a German technology that makes it 18,000% more bioavailable. It works in minutes for some people. They're like, oh my God, how do I get information? I go, what's your cell phone number? I'll text you. Right? So I take their number, I text them vidifyresults.com, and I text them vidifystories.com. And that links them to a YouTube playlist, which we'll go over a bit. And it also links them to a Facebook testimonial page, right? So, and then they have, it's like they look at what I just did and they answer 4 questions with a yes. They go, I could do what you're doing. I would have the time. You hardly used any words. We didn't take a bunch of my time. You were respectful. It looks like there's a community that I could get help in if I decided to do this business. And it was like a fun experience. There's no pressure. Does that make sense? There's nobody was being pushy. I would do what you're doing to people I care about. So it's like, looks great, right? So a couple of things I want to point out about business and specifically Vidify. So in life, there's many different ways to make money. Does that make sense? Many different ways. I know people making money in investments, right? Or they're trading currency or all sorts of different things, right? Buying and selling Bitcoin on a data, who knows, right? But you would be difficult for you to convince me that by doing that they are making the world a better place. Does that make sense? Right? So I like businesses that solve problems, right? And if I can make money solving problems, then I feel good about that, right? If I make a lot of money solving problems, I can feel good about that too. I'm like, hey, I have done a lot of good. Therefore, all this money come to me I feel it's ethical and it's a good thing, right? So Vidify actually solves quite a few problems. The first problem we solve is we solve the number one. So everyone say number one. We solve the number one problem in the supplement industry. And that is the problem of absorption of specifically fat or lipid, another word for fat, lipid molecules. So your body's mostly water. Everyone kind of knows that, okay? So when you mix oil or fat and water, they don't mix very well. And there's a lot of very important things your body needs nutritionally that are actually more fat, okay? So we have a technology that when you combine it with fat molecules, it dramatically increases your body's ability to absorb it, right? And when I say dramatically, with this particular product we have, it increases it 18,000%. Okay, so when we combine this technology with curcumin, which is an extract from turmeric, everyone knows turmeric, right? So it's an easy sell. Everyone's like, you've heard of turmeric, yes. You should be taking it, yes. Have you ever tried to take it? Yes. Okay. Well, this is why you haven't gotten life-changing results. It wasn't absorbed. Like, oh, good to know. We have a product that's absorbed. So when we combine this technology with turmeric, we also solve a number one problem in people's health. Everyone say number one. Number one problem in people's health is inflammation. Okay, inflammation. Inflammation is the number one, everyone say number one cause or number one contributor to every disease associated with aging. So in a general way, this is how I like to explain it. You know how you felt when you were 19 that you wish you felt when you're now in your 50s, Like, oh, when I was 19, I could do this, when I didn't feel achy and well, all that stuff is inflammation, okay? So people in their 50s and beyond or even younger, they have inflammation. But they also have money. Do you notice that? Do you have more money now than when you were 19? Well, yeah.
Absolutely.
Guess what you'll trade your money for? To feel how you felt when you're 19, won't you? Like, well,
Yeah.
that's a pretty good business. I don't know if you know that. People are like, yes, take my money as long as I can feel that way, because you don't have anything if you don't have your health.
So,
You got nothing. Oh, you got a ton of money in the bank. You can't enjoy it. You can barely get out of bed. Like, I have a friend of mine. He's a successful business guy. Used to be a hockey player, used to be an MMA. And you know what? Before I started him on the drops, you know what? He got out of bed and his ankles would barely move. Like, he hobble around like an old man. He's in his 40s. Like, well, guess what? Guess what happens after I put him on the drops? He's like, my ankles move. You think he's excited? Oh yeah, he's excited. So I want you to get an idea of really how dramatic the results are when you can reduce inflammation. So the best place to do that is the two resources I gave you. Number one, vidifyresults.com. Even if people aren't on Facebook, this goes to YouTube. Everyone can access it. So you'll notice there's a playlist at the very top. It has a 3-minute video for all you people with ADD who are busy. Okay, we got to hook you. So the 3-minute video on top explains that technology a little bit, right? Then what you'll notice is this playlist answers almost all your questions too, right? Number one question people go is like, oh, well, how much should I take for my situation? And I interview a friend of mine, naturopathic doctor. She's got some crazy stories, right? And we talk about that. We talk about her boyfriend going in for a kind of we'll say an exploratory surgery. They thought something might be going on in his body. They saw some stuff. They're like, ooh, yeah, we can't help you. Sew him back up. Go call your lawyer, call your priest. You know what? She goes, you know what? He's clean. His body's clean. And he gets this regular scan. He's got no more issues. Right. She also told me a story of her friend calls her, and her friend's like, my son just got in a car accident. He's 17. He's in a coma. He's not waking up. The doctors are like, just, you're going to have to let him go and pull the plug on him because he'll never come out of this coma. She's like, what can we do? She's like, well, let's put the drops down his feeding tube. She goes, what if they're upset? She goes, who cares? They're telling you to unplug your kid. Well, like, whether they're upset or not is not the concern, right? So they probably put more actually than they needed down his feeding tube, but you know what? The product's cheap. Who cares if we give him too much, right? And 6 days later, he woke up and she goes, you meet that kid today, you would never know that he ever had any issues. I mean, what's that? That we solved some problems there, right? You know, if I make a little bit of money from that, I don't feel bad. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, what do you think that woman would be willing to pay to have her son?
yeah.
There's no price on that.
Mhm.
Like, so when I say to people, you know, we do meaningful work for meaningful pay. You know, if I make as much as a doctor, but I give people that results, I don't feel bad about that,
No.
right? Especially, you know, newsflash, the doctors weren't helping him.
Hmm.
I bet they spent way more on like an hour of him being in the hospital than on the total cost of product to get him out of the hospital. Right. So you'll notice a bunch more stories on there, story after story after story, just crazy stuff. Like I just noticed Roy Lodick joined the call. Roy, former European kickbox champion, right? All these guys who do this, like what do they have when they're in their 50s, 60s? They got inflammation. They're like hobbling around, right? And he had massive pain. I know you went over his house. You're like, Roy, like, well, you cared about him, right? You're like, you want to help the guy. You're like, I think I could help you. Gave him some drops, gave him a few more drops before bed. And in the middle of the night, he wakes up without it and finds himself in the bathroom without his crutches. Why is that surprising? Because he couldn't go anywhere without his crutches. And he spent the rest of the night wide awake. Why? Because he's like, I know Iwan has a few bottles, and I got to make sure that I'm first person, and I got to make sure he doesn't sell those bottles to anybody else. So he like waiting. He's like, okay, 7 o'clock, that's good enough. Called you. Said, I got to have it, right? Amazing story, right?
Yeah.
Person after person, you know, with pain and inflammation and like people born without ankles. Yeah, you heard that right. Who hobbled around their entire life, and now at 66, they're in the least amount of pain. A friend of mine, I interviewed there who had, this kind of these wacky health issues where you spend all your life in pain, but everyone says either we can't do anything for you or there's nothing wrong with you. You're just crazy. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden she feels amazing. She goes, yeah, my boss at work he's like, whatever you're on, I want some. Because she had so much energy. And the funny thing is, she's got 13-year-old twins. And she goes, my twins are like, calm down, mom, calm down. You've got too much energy. Why? Because at 13, they have never in their entire life seen their mother with vibrant health and energy. Not once.
Yeah.
They're used to her just minding her own business. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure it's a little different having a mom who's like active, right? Story after story after story after story like that. I mean, just go check it out yourself. Then what you can also do is you can go to vidifystories.com. Now, this is a Facebook testimonial group, like 35, almost 40,000 people in there. Crazy stories in there. You can see that these stories are genuine people, right? And one thing this does for me is follow-up. Follow-up is key in this business, right? Most people who know me no, I'm a little bit on the lazy side, okay, in terms of the follow-up. But I know if I put people in the testimonial group, Facebook will like remind them, hey, Bob just put a story in this testimonial group. You should go check it out. And you see one story, one story and another story. And see, if people get in the testimonial group, someone who goes, oh, I'm super busy. Yeah, they read one story in there. 3 hours later, they're calling you with their credit card to sign up. Oh, I thought you didn't have any time. Oh, we got like obsessed with this stuff. Like I have to have it. Well, that was easy for me. Does that make sense? The group did all the work, right? So the product works, okay? When a product works that well, and you have not only a product to offer someone, you have a business to offer them. You understand? Too much these days is good health is becoming more and more the exclusive domain for people with money. Like, you want to eat healthy food? Costs money. You want to? You should get a massage. You should get other therapy. You know what? Costs money. You're working too hard. You need to relax and take a vacation. Costs money. Take the right supplements because the world we live in without amount of toxicity and stress, your body was never designed for this planet. Guess what? You need money. Right. So when we can offer people a product that does that, there's an extraordinary business opportunity connected to it. Okay. So I want to talk a bit about a little bit more, some details that I love about the business that I can see is an amazing thing that other people who haven't spent 30 years in business like this, you might miss it. Does that make sense? So one of the things which is vitally important is actually that it's a very convenient product to take. Again, why? Because most people are lazy. Did you know that, Iwan? Most people are lazy. So for me, I never forget to drink coffee in the morning. So I have my coffee and I have my stevia drops because I don't like to keep the carbs low in my 50s, right? And then I have my drops right next to the stevia. Guess what? I never forget to take it. Never, ever, ever do I forget to take my drops, right? So there's a lot of supplements or devices or different things that people should be doing that if they did, it would help them, but they don't get around to doing it. Right? So if people don't typically swallow pills very consistently, guess what? They're like, oh, I like that product, but I keep forgetting to take it. Stop my order. I don't need it anymore. Wasn't that the product didn't work? Wasn't that they didn't like it? Convenience. That's a convenience issue. Next thing, cost. Least expensive thing I've sold in my entire life. That's a big deal. Why? Because we want to build a business where we have customers month after month after month. When this product does what it does, when it's this convenient and when it costs this much, people are much less likely to stop ordering it. Even if, hey, guess what? There's we live in a kind of a turbulent economic times. Stuff goes up and down, right? You need something that's resistant to changes in economy and changes in supply chain issues. Speaking of supply chain issues, like this past year, we went through some crazy stuff with import issues and this and that. It took forever to people forget their product. I'll tell you one thing, in 30 years of doing business, almost always, if a company experiences that level problems, the company is toast. Guess what? We grew during that time. People are like, the product's too good. We're willing to wait. We're willing to work through this. Okay. Then the next thing is like, okay, a business needs to pay you, right? How about meaningful pay? That's part is important, right? Without getting a lot of details on the compensation plan. The compensation plan is very simple. Okay, I don't need something complicated. I just want to spend my time, talking to people about the product, not managing something fancy, right? Super generous. We pay you as you're growing your business. Like, hey, congratulations, you got a new partner. Here's some money. Congratulations, you hit a new rank. Here's a little bit more money, right? So we pay you in these increments as you're growing your business. And then we start paying you really deep in your organization as you're building a larger organization, right? So you have a stable residual income down the road. Okay. The next thing for me is really timing. Okay. I grew up near the beach in Florida. I learned how to swim and body surf at a young age, right? And that's something you kind of have to experience a little while, and then you kind of get how it feels. And so you can interact with the waves in the right way. And then you're like, boom, it's like, ooh, wait, that's fun. What's fun? If you paddle hard at the right time when there's a wave, the wave will take you on its own, right? It's fun, right? So when you have like timing with this company that we have right now, and you can catch a wave, if you do that, you can go places in business you could never go on your own without the timing. Does that make sense? Like often people see people making a lot of money in this type of industry. They're like, oh, how come he's making so much money? Not because they were that much more brilliant, but it's called a first mover's advantage. Oh, I was the first person in my area, in my friend group, in my network who found out about this. And I'm the one who told everybody, right? So the advantage is not being a rock star business person, but it's seeing an opportunity and doing something about it, right? And the last thing I would say is really the ownership of the company. Really, good businesses solve problems, but all businesses go through problems, right? It's like sometimes people who have never been in network marketing, they get in business, they're like, oh, I can't believe this happened. I can't believe that happened. I'm like, that's because you've never been in business, right? Business can be a little crazy, okay? And why the reason leadership pays so well, the reason CEOs get paid insane amounts of money is because leadership matters, right? And one of the things that I love most about this company is Shane and Laura Brady own 90% of the company. The other 10% is owned by family who are just kind of silent partners. And Shane spent his entire business career in this industry of network marketing. And so when he decided to start a company, he kind of knew what he wanted. And some of the things that were really important to Shane are integrity and loyalty, big time. So what does that mean? That means that as we move forward, that Shane is going to make decisions that protect my business interest because he views us as family. Does that make sense? And that's incredibly important because I don't know what's coming business-wise for us, but I can have some confidence that we're going to solve it with integrity. Does that make sense? Right. And so I will always take that over companies that do things quickly or have fancy websites or things like that. Because that, I'll tell you what, that comes and goes, right? Just because you have a fancy website and you can get things done quickly doesn't mean that the company doesn't go public and sell you out, or everyone who joined your business grew super fast this year and then next year everyone jumps to something else, right? It's like, it's a very different thing. So that's the big thing. So what we love to do is we love to invite you to get all your questions answered. If you'd like to join us as a customer, I'll just give you US prices. Those prices are $50 or $60 retail. Okay, we've got two very basic types of products, NanoFi or Curcumin Plus. Curcumin Plus has added ginger and vitamin C. I find that if people have a preference, it's typically for the Curcumin Plus. Some people don't do well on ginger for whatever reason, okay? And they tend to like the NanoFi better. Like my daughter's mother-in-law, she just doesn't handle the Curcumin Plus for some reason. That's kind of unusual. NanoFi changed her life, right? So choose it. Make sure you're taking enough for long enough on vidifyresults.com. Watch that video with that naturopathic doctor, kind of get a feel for how to give it a good try. If you're like, you know what? I'm already thinking of a ton of people that I care about who I've got to talk to about this product. And meaningful work for meaningful pay sounds like an amazing opportunity, right? How do I do the business? Awesome. Thank you for asking. I'm going to give you the US version of this. The European version prices will vary a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. But same basic thing. So you've got three options to join us in business. We call it Kit 250, Kit 500, Kit 1000. It's going to be, I think we call it Kit 1250 in Europe, right? So it's going to be about that amount in US dollars or euros. Obviously, that's a little different, but we're talking approximations. In each one of those kits, you're going to get a bunch of product. The larger the kit, the better deal. When that kit arrives at your house, if you turn around and sell what's in it, you've already made all your money back, right? By the way, I once asked, once hanging out with a guy who's worth $50 million, and we're both in the same network marketing company. And I said, Stuart, why are you doing network marketing? And he looked at me like I was an idiot. He goes, low startup cost, huge income upside potential, no employees, no overhead, great tax benefits. He goes, what's not to love? I'm like, well, that's why you're worth $50 million, because you understand business. Okay. So you can take your kit, turn around, sell what's in it. Bam, you're already cash flowing, positive cash flow in your business from there on out. That's amazing, right? Also great tax benefits. Okay. So between those three kits, we don't change how we pay you. So we don't put pressure on you to spend more money, but there are a couple advantages to a larger kit. One, our business loves speed. If you get $500 or $1,000 worth of product sitting in your house, there's a lot more people you can get this product in their hands. So the more people, the faster, the more people are joining your business sooner. The more people partnering with you, you're excited faster because you're like, oh, I've already got 4 people. Well, cool. Easier to get 4 people who are excited if you put 4 times as many people on product, right? So the other thing that's a big advantage is that when people decide to join you, they typically will copy what you do, right? So if someone goes, oh, I want to join you. Great. What option did you choose? Oh, I did the 500 or the 1,000. Great. Oh, well, I'll do that then, right? So they just copy you, right? And then obviously people join your team at the 500 or 1,000, your business grows 2 to 4 times as fast, okay? The other big advantage we have is that we want you to start your business quickly. We want to put money in your pocket as fast as possible, okay? And we have this, the first rank in the company is called Pro. It just is, hey, $2,000 in total volume, okay, between you and 3 people who join you. Much easier if you and everyone are doing at least the Kit 500, right? That's, you go find 3 people, not a super challenge, right? If you do that in your first 30 days, we give you a little bit of extra money. People love it. If you and everyone else you're doing joins at the Kit 250, it's a lot more work to get that many people interested. And so we find that when people hit that rank quickly, it builds enthusiasm. And tell you what, you want to know the magic sauce in your business? Excitement and enthusiasm. And that's it right there. So that's it. We're about 30 minutes into it. Get back with the person who'll tell you about this. Get your questions answered. And we invite you to partner with us in doing something meaningful to the world. And we're having fun doing it. And there's a great opportunity as well. So anything you'd like to add, Iwan?
No, I think you did it all. And by the way, do not forget, especially if you're in Europe, make sure the 7th of September you're there. It's our first year in Europe. You'll
Yes,
be there.
I will be there. Yes, looking forward to meeting everybody.
Yeah, doing some training. So make sure you're there if you're taking this seriously. Or
Yeah,
just fun.
awesome. Well, hope everyone has a great week. Hope your day is as beautiful as mine is going to be. I doubt it, though. Really, honestly, I think my day is going to be much prettier than anyone else's today. So, and that's because I can go wherever I want to and do my business. So there we go. Awesome. Have a great day, everybody. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Steve.